Hey there, I'm Rebecca Mickey and welcome to this 10-minute masterclass. In this masterclass, I'm going to be talking all about developmental leaps and how and why they affect sleep. So developmental leaps happen. You may know this as a sleep regression. It can also be called a leap. And this is where your sleep can get really, really wonky. This is completely normal and most people will see this at some point with their child. Now, there are a lot of sleep regressions. I don't really like talking about sleep regressions because then most parents are then anticipating that things are going to be getting crazy and that's a whole lot of worry. But there is a 4-month sleep regression, a 6-month sleep regression, a 9-month sleep regression, a 12-month sleep regression, an 18-month sleep regression, and a 24-month sleep regression. That's a lot of sleep regressions, and there's lots of leaps, and these leaps are mainly around these sleep regressions. There's a lot happening with your child developmentally, and this is going to impact their sleep. Now, obviously, it depends on where your child is, which leap it is, which regression they're going through, as to what it is that they're learning at that point. Now, there are some things that you really want to be looking out for that you can then predict whether this is going to be happening. So if you see that your child is beginning to learn a new skill, now, of course, infants, especially within the first year, it's a real jam-packed year of everything that they're learning, and it is consistently happening all the time. When you think about when your baby is born, what it is that they can do, and then within just a year, everything that they have learned within that year, it's just incredible the amount that they've learned. But there's lots of different sort of stages that we get, and these learning is pretty predictable with the timeline that happens. When your child is learning something pretty big, like to roll over or to sit up or to pull up or to walk, it's really easy for us to see these things when it's something physical. It's really easy for us to see. Well, when your child is learning this new skill, they need to practice this everywhere. You'll see this when you lay them down on the changing mat and they're learning to roll. They're trying to roll there, and then when you lay them down on the rug, they're trying to roll there, and the kitchen floor and the couch and everywhere. They need to perfect this skill everywhere. It's not just a do it once and we're done. They need to perfect it everywhere, and this is why they are constantly practicing to work and working on this new skill. Now, if the only time they ever get to practice this new skill, whichever new skill it is, walking, crawling, and the only time they ever get to practice this in their bed is when you're trying to get them down to sleep or in the middle of the night, that's when they're going to practice it. So remember this, they need to be perfecting it everywhere. Once they've perfected it, they don't have this desire to do it all the time. If the only time that your child gets to practice rolling over in their bed is when you're trying to get them down for a nap, that's the time they're going to do it. The only time they're going to be able to practice getting to the sitting position or crawling is in the middle of the night, because that's when they wake up, that's when they'll do it. And so we will often see that this developmental leap is impacting sleep because your child has this desire to practice this new skill all the time. I mean, when you think about how your child practices, we lose this somewhere. Can you imagine how much if we were still learning at this same level and we were still putting in all this practice? Can you imagine what we as adults could do? It'd be impressive. We lose that somewhere. But a child will keep going until they've perfected it. They keep going and keep practicing, and they keep practicing, and once they perfected it, they've got it. But they keep going. So we want your child to practice the new skills that they're working on in their bed at a far more socially acceptable time. And how can we do this? By having some playtime in their bed every single day. And I always suggest families that you have playtime in your child's sleep space. And so often I get a pushback from people saying, well, I've heard that their bed should only be for sleep. I don't want them waking up and playing. Well, no, we don't necessarily want that. But we want your child to, one, be really comfortable with their sleep space. They can only comfortably sleep there if they're comfortable with the space. And that comes with play. So having some playtime there can really help with that. Another thing that this playtime does is if your child does play at the beginning of the night for 10 minutes and then fall asleep, is that a problem? If they wake up during the night and they play for 10 minutes and then get themselves back to sleep, is that a problem? No, not really. I don't really think that that is a problem. I've never heard of children who will play for hours and hours and hours and not sleep. So playtime in their bed is really, really important, especially when they are learning new skills. Increase the time that they are there. Increase that playtime, increase that practice time when they are learning something new, because this means they have more time to work on this new skill. They will perfect that much quicker, and then they will get back to better sleep. So it's easy to tell, as I mentioned, it's easy to tell when it's something physical that they're learning on. This is much harder to tell when it's something cognitive. Brain development is much harder, and so you may just then notice that your child is having more wake-ups and just you're sort of wondering what's going on because they're not learning anything physical. Chances are it could be a leap, it could be a regression. So it's worth then increasing this playtime to see if this helps them to get back on track so much quicker. So when your child is going through a leap or a regression, there's nothing we can do to avoid it. Your child is learning. That's what we want them to be doing. They're learning, and it is going to impact sleep, and sometimes it has a negative impact on sleep. That's fine. We need to expect this. We can't avoid it, but we want to get back on track as quickly as possible, and that's where increasing your playtime in your child's sleep space will help you get back on track as quickly as possible. Good luck. If you would like to download my ebook, 7 Things You Can Do Today to Help Your Child Sleep Tonight, just follow the link below and make sure that you subscribe to the channel so you never ever miss out on another 10-minute masterclass. I'll see you soon.